Have you ever wondered why some people that grows up in poverty they achieve success and how some people that come from wealthy families don't achieve success? I have an answer for this. My name is Tamara Rich. I own a company valued at more than $5 million with my husband, and this is what helped me achieve my success coming from poverty. I grew up in poverty in a very humble neighborhood. And I remember some days we wouldn't have hot water. So I had to take cold showers at a very young age. And I was very used to do take really hot showers. Like hot showers were like my comfort zone. They were like something that made me feel really good, like safe and protected. And whenever I didn't had hot water, I felt really sad and I felt like why this happens to me. And so from a very young age, I had to kind of develop an awareness towards my attitude. So many times I'll be like, oh, we don't have water and overreacting over these things. Either there's no water or there's not hot water. So I remember that I would go to somebody else's house and use hot shower. And I remember having a bathtub. To me, that was luxury. And my cousin will have a big bathtub. She lived very far away from me. And I was very confused why my life is the way it is. Why do I have so much poverty? And in my house is always being said that there's not enough, there's not this, we can't fix that, we can't do that. I grew up with my mom and my two sisters. They are almost 10 years older than me. And they grew different than I did because we have a difference in age that is it's a big difference. And I remember that I had a way different reality than them, but it still affected me the way my mom thought. And that's what I learned. I learned a lot of it. But I feel like thanks to what I went through is what it made me really grateful for what I have now and to understand myself now. So this morning, for example, I'll go to the shower and I have hot water and I'm thinking, since when do I like actually taking colder showers? Because I wanted to have it a little bit more colder. And I noticed that hot shower used to be like something important for me. I had a little bit of trauma over it because it was something that it was a luxury to have and I needed it for such a long time. And now like I pay attention more to my body. I created an awareness and I pay attention and I think I am not taking this for granted. I don't take it for granted that I have hot water and a very beautiful bathroom and all of these things. And I thought, oh, okay. So I feel like growing up the way I grew up, it made me really tough. It made me tougher. And so I went through hard things from a really young age. And now it's totally different for me the way I think about life and how I appreciate things. And I don't take things for granted and things like that. So my life could have been way different. I could have either grow up in poverty and accept that this was my destiny or think bigger and every time I went to somewhere else to my cousin's house to friends of my mom's house or something even she took me to a really good school and when I will make friends the kids will invite me to their house and I'll see wow this is like a really beautiful lifestyle and I want this. And so I've been wanting to have this from a very young age. So I did everything possible to get there without knowing. So many times I could have ended up in the worst spots ever. I could have ended up in having a different mindset because I felt like I attracted a lot of the things that I grew up with. My mom had always really toxic relationships since I was really young. So for me, it was really normal if I dated somebody that was toxic or if I was having a friend that was very toxic or I was being toxic towards a friend or a relationship. So for me that was normal. And until I find somebody that is the complete opposite, that is very healthy, they grew up in a family that is more sophisticated and is more educated than what I grew up with. My mom did the best she could and so I started noticing these things. And by noticing these things, it shifted the way I think about life, it shifted my attitude. So little by little, my husband coming from a place where he always wanted to build a business and he always built himself, his he always was into self-development and listening to mentors like Jim Rohn, like Ern Angel. I had no idea who these people were. And so for me, it was like very weird. When we first met, I will always contradict him and I will always be a defensive one. I will always be the one that wasn't causing the trouble and bringing the drama to the table, because this was normal for me. I grew up in a place where all you talk about is drama and gossip, and these things were normal for me, but not for him. So he will always set boundaries, and he will always say really wise words like, you have to change your attitude because your attitude will shape your reality and things like that. And I'm like, what is he talking about? But it does make sense what he's saying. It makes so much sense. He is someone that I'm attracted to. I admire him so much. I will listen to him. I will listen to him a lot. And so for him was like, he had a different reality with me. He would notice that I would be grateful for very little things that for him was normal, like the water, the hot water, or like taking care of water and things that he was like, oh, never thought about that. So he learned a lot from me from having some, he learned a lot from me from being humble, and I learned a lot from him from being very educated and also having like gratitude and stuff. My gratitude developed more when I first met him than when I was younger, because when I was younger, I noticed that there wasn't much of values were not something that you bring to the table. Like values is something that you don't discuss, that you don't talk or anything. But when I meet him, the first thing that we talk about is values, but without telling me. He was telling me, this is something I accept, this is something I don't accept, this is something that for me is fine, and this is something that for me is not. And I was like, okay. So since we've been together, for me, there were things that I was like very ungrateful about it. And that wasn't aligned with his values, which is he had gratitude. And so I learned a lot by being with somebody that I admire, and by being with somebody that was already developing themselves, but at the same time from what I went through in my past. And he will always bring up to me at night when I would cry or anything. He will let me know. He will say, Tammy, you're like the strongest woman I know, because he knows my whole story. So I wanted to share a little bit of my story today with you guys. Just I feel like I'm feeling more comfortable little by little to share like where I come from and what I went through before I am where I am, and why I want to help others with this. I am so passionate about teaching other people self-development, because I grew up in a place where their attitudes and their way of thinking kept them trapped in a reality they didn't want to be in, but they were comfortable and they didn't know that there was something better. So they never did healing, they never paid attention to their bodies, to themselves. So that's why I now make videos for others, so that others don't have to go through where I went through, and the people that grew up the way I grew up have at least somebody to help them with a little bit of awareness. So I hope you really liked this video and this video was helpful for you. I would love to see you on the next video. If you want to subscribe to see more content that is similar to this one, I invite you to hit that button down there.